Good afternoon, Leiden. I cannot believe that the school year is officially over tomorrow. I don't know about you, but I'm having a harder and harder time keeping track of the calendar. We know that our students this year have missed out on so many end-of-year activities and honors, and I truly believe that we will always remember the class of 2020, and they personally will be more resilient for the hardships they've gone through this year. As you've heard from the principals, we are planning some drive-by send-offs for the seniors next week, and we'll be holding virtual graduations on the district's YouTube channel at the end of next month. These ceremonies will be fully recorded videos that will stick to the traditional format of our ceremonies. Thanks to our readers, we have already had them in to record the audio for the names. On June 3rd, we'll be recording all of the speeches. You've probably also heard that former Chicago Bear Charles Peanut Tillman has volunteered his time to submit a speech for both ceremonies. Thank you to Cindy Moreno, our new Director of Communications, for making that connection for us. The kids aren't the only ones missing out. We also have staff members graduating from Leiden this year. Normally we would have an end-of-year meeting in the auditorium and a gathering at the underpass to celebrate all of them. I'd like to at least list off the names so you can send along your words of encouragement and thanks to these amazing Eagles. So here they are in alphabetical order. Chris Balleri, 27 years. Dr. Beth Kincannon, 25 years. Tim Erler, 22 years. Teresa French, 34 years. Rose Janis, 19 years. Ed Kane, 34 years. Linda Mazzoni, 13 years. Cindy Meyer, 31 years. Dave Narder, 26 years. Therese Owens, 6 years. Jerry Patt, 26 years. Norb Posen, 30 years. Janet Richards, 19 years. Chris Roy, 29 years. And James Waite, 13 years. Combined, that group of individuals represents 354 years of service to our kids and our community. We simply cannot thank them enough for all they've done. So please join me in congratulating them on their well-deserved retirements. We also want to wish well all of you who may be leaving Leiden at the end of this year for different adventures and opportunities. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors. We typically hand out the service awards for milestone years of service this time of year. Debbie Mazanik has been working in the background on all those processes. We're planning to recognize those folks when we return to school in the fall. We have not forgotten about you. We've had numerous questions from many of you over the past week or so. So I'd like to touch on a few of those common questions and responses. The first was, will the buildings be open over the summer? We are planning to follow the guidelines and expectations put out by the governor and the state superintendent. We anticipate that there will come a point where 12-month staff is able to return to work on a daily basis, but until that time, we will continue to have representation in both buildings and in the central office on a daily basis. The best way to reach all of us will remain by email. Even when we're not physically in the buildings, we are still working and we are still available. Second question was, what's happening with construction? We have a lot of activity going on in the buildings every day. In addition to classroom and office renovations, work is being done to replace parts of the parking lots and driveways at West Leiden. We're making repairs on the drainage of the stadium field and replacing the running track. We're also moving the ceramics kiln out of the basement tunnels and adjacent to the ceramics classroom. At East, many doors are being replaced, the old choir room is being renovated into a future home for CoLab, and the auto and metal shops are getting new epoxy floors and other work. The biggest summer project is on the north side of the property, where we are rebuilding the tennis courts and putting in an artificial turf field for our home soccer games. The field will also be lined for football and lacrosse, and it'll feature a walking track around the outside. It might seem strange to be doing this work when we have some uncertainty in the budget moving forward. All of this work was scheduled and budgeted for this year. In my last message, I referenced the effect this pandemic is having on the state's budget and how it will likely affect schools. Patrick Hatfield has given presentations to the school board, to the administrative team, to the department chairs, and to the supervisors, explaining how and why we are anticipating to potentially lose millions of dollars in revenue next year. As I'm creating this video, our state legislators have returned to Springfield, and they hope to create a budget over the next 3 days. We'll be watching the headlines to see what happens. I've already heard that they're anticipating some federal aid to help bolster the state economies. We're watching the impact of our property taxes as well. They're our largest funding source, and Cook County is allowing people and businesses to delay their payments. We anticipate closure of businesses and foreclosures on homes, which will also have a direct impact on all taxing bodies. Finally, we've had some questions about Dr. Mandarino's email to faculty about the importance of structure in Schoology. Through our work with the focus groups, it was very clear that Schoology has been a key part of this extended e-learning process. In order to maximize our impact and coordinate our efforts, it was important that we create some consistent experiences for our students. With that in mind, a template was created for all teachers to use within Schoology so that our courses will look and feel the same for kids. Obviously, all teachers will have the autonomy to personalize what goes into those templates. We wanted to share this as we were closing out the year to allow departments and course teams a chance to touch base before the start of summer. When we come back in the fall, we already have 2 institute days scheduled. We're anticipating that the State Board of Ed will give us some additional flexibility in the form of planning days that will count as instructional days, like we did this year. So it's our plan to give you more time to work on that process. We know that some of you will want to get started on that work immediately or over the summer, but please know that that is not our expectation of you. We will allocate time in the fall for this work. We're also creating optional live new opportunities for the summer, so please watch for those. Also, please watch for an FAQ document, a frequently asked questions document from Dr. Mandarino. So why is this so important for next year? If we start the year with e-learning, this is crucial work to help our students be successful in this learning environment. If we start in-seat next year, we anticipate closures if the virus spikes or if we have confirmed cases in our buildings. So we may very well have to toggle back and forth from in-seat to e-learning throughout the year. These structures in Schoology will help keep everything organized. Finally, even if all of next year will be in-seat, the CDC is telling us that when a student has a positive case, he or she will have to stay home for 14 days. When this happens, those structures will be important so that students can stay engaged and organized while they are at home for those quarantine periods. If we are online in the fall, we plan to continue using our AB day schedule with Workday Wednesdays. Obviously, all of this is contingent on how our state and our region progresses through the governor's phases of the Restore Illinois plan. We can't make any definitive decisions until we know what rules and options there are from the state. In my email, I've included a link to the official CDC guidelines for reopening. You can skip ahead to page 45 for information about schools. When you read that information, you'll see a very high standard for what it will take to reopen in the fall. There is talk of lunches being eaten in the classrooms, temperatures being taken for all students and staff on a daily basis, only using every other row inside of our school buses, keeping desks 6 feet apart, and not allowing students to mix in different classes. All of that and more presents many problems when you think about operating high schools of 1,600 or 1,800 students. I think some of the trickiest parts of all of this might still be ahead of us. We'll be working with our state organizations, communicating with the Board of Education and our union leadership as we continue to plan for next year. Like I said last week, I will continue to provide communications like this as I have new information to share, so please watch your email throughout the summer. All right, I apologize for the long video. I just want to close by saying thank you and congratulations. Thank you for all of your creativity, flexibility, and genuine care for our students and for each other. You poured your heart and soul into being available, designing meaningful lessons, preparing and delivering nutritious lunches, cleaning and sanitizing the buildings, and so much more. Congratulations on making it through the craziest year I've ever seen in education. You should be proud of the work you did, and please know that I am very proud of each and every one of you. Be safe and be well, everyone. Take some time for yourself to start to recharge your batteries. This has been a very stressful last few months, and you deserve that. So, have a great day.